You want a provider with a strict no-logs policy. This means they don't track or store your online activity, period. Privacy is a paramount.
All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into something that you've probably heard about, but maybe haven't fully explored VPNs.
Right.
And you're likely here because most of us these days, you're spending more and more time working remotely. And let's be honest, that free cafe Wi-Fi, as tempting as it is, doesn't exactly scream secure, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
So that's where VPNs come in.
Right.
We're diving into a document all about them. And get this, it says, using public Wi-Fi without a VPN is practically broadcasting your sensitive data to anyone within range.
That's scary.
It kind of makes you rethink that next latte purchase, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay, let's unpack this thing.
All right, yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
We're talking about potentially exposing your browsing history, logins,
Right.
even company files if you're not careful.
So walk us through this a little.
Yeah.
What's a VPN actually doing to protect us? I get the basic idea, but I want to understand how...
So imagine you're sending a super secret message.
Okay.
Instead of just an open postcard.
Yeah.
You would use a sealed envelope, right?
Right.
A VPN is basically creating a digital version of that.
Oh, okay.
It builds what we call an encrypted tunnel for all of your internet traffic. So all your data is scrambled,
Right.
making it unreadable to anyone who's trying to scoop.
Okay, that's a helpful visual.
Good.
But why is this so crucial specifically for remote work? Isn't it just as important whether I'm
You're not wrong.
at home or in an office?
Security is always important.
Yeah.
But think about it. In an office, you're usually on a secure network.
Right.
You have a thin folks that are keeping an eye on things.
Right, yeah.
When you're remote, you're kind of hopping between all these different Wi-Fi networks.
Yeah, that's true.
Some more trustworthy than others.
Yeah.
That cafe Wi-Fi could be a hacker's paradise.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Your home network, hopefully safe, but still, a VPN adds this extra layer of protection that you just don't get by default.
All right, that makes sense. So beyond just keeping my cat videos private,
Right.
what are the big security benefits that this document highlights?
Yeah, so it lays out a few, and they're all relevant to you as a remote worker.
Okay.
First off, data encryption and confidentiality. We're talking military-grade stuff here, AES 256 encryption.
Right.
This means even if someone intercepts your data,
Okay.
it's just a dumbled mess to them.
Wow. Even governments use that level of encryption, right?
Exactly.
That's reassuring to know it's protecting my stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what else?
Next up, secure access to your company network.
Okay.
Imagine you're working on a confidential project at that cafe. Without a VPN, someone could potentially be snooping on your progress.
Oh, wow.
Maybe even stealing valuable company secrets.
Right.
A VPN makes that connection secure.
Okay.
Like you're plugged right into the office network, even from miles away.
So it's not just about protecting my data, but my company's as well.
That's right.
That makes sense.
Exactly. What else is on this list of VPN benefits?
So the document emphasizes the cybersecurity shield that a VPN provides.
Okay.
Remember all the cyber threats we hear about all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Phishing attacks, malware lurking on shady websites, all that nasty stuff.
Right.
A VPN makes you a much harder target.
Okay.
Think of it like this. It masks your IP address,
Oh, okay.
your digital fingerprint,
Right.
making it tougher for those threats to even find you.
So I'm starting to see why this is a big deal for remote workers.
Yeah.
We're basically more exposed.
Right.
So this extra protection feels essential. But doesn't a VPN also help with privacy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
A VPN helps safeguard your online privacy by masking your real IP address and assigning you a temporary one.
Right.
This makes it incredibly difficult for websites, advertisers, even your internet service provider to track your every move online.
So even if I'm just browsing the web or, researching the best VPN providers, my online activity is more private.
That's right.
With a VPN.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. Isn't that kind of what we're doing right now?
Well, it's certainly a good example of why someone might be interested in using a VPN.
Right.
But it's also a reminder that privacy is a fundamental, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And in today's digital world, a VPN can help you exercise that right more effectively.
Okay, that's a great point. Now, I've also heard about this thing called split tunneling.
Right.
Is that related to privacy or is it something different altogether?
Good question. Split tunneling is more about control and flexibility.
Okay.
It lets you decide which apps or websites use the VPN's encrypted tunnel and which ones use your regular internet connection.
So what's the advantage of that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I want everything to go through the VPN?
So there are trade-offs.
Okay.
Some people find that using the VPN for everything can slow down their connection speed, especially for activities like streaming movies or downloading large files.
Right.
So split tunneling kind of lets you prioritize how you want to use it.
I see how that could be useful.
Right.
So I could have my work stuff.
Right.
Like accessing company files, go through the VPN for maximum security.
Right.
But then let my Netflix binge watching bypass the VPN for a smoother experience.
You got it.
Okay.
It's all about finding the right balance between security and performance based on your needs and what you're doing online.
Got it. Split tunneling, power user feature,
Yeah?
but use it wisely.
Right.
Now, we've talked a lot about the what and the why of VPNs, but the document also talks about choosing the right VPN provider.
Right.
And that seems pretty crucial.
Yes.
What should we be looking for?
That's where it gets interesting because not all VPNs are created equal.
Right.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll break down the key things to consider when selecting a VPN provider that meets your needs and truly keeps your data safe.
All right, I'm ready to go full VPN expert.
Awesome.
We'll be back to continue this deep dive
Good.
after a quick break. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're getting into the nitty-gritty of VPNs now, the stuff that can really make a difference in your online security.
Yeah, that's right. Choosing a VPN provider isn't something to take lightly.
Right.
We're talking about protecting your data, your privacy, even your peace of mind.
Exactly. So let's break it down. What are the non-negotiables when it comes to picking a VPN provider?
Okay, so first and foremost, look at the encryption protocols they use.
Okay.
Remember we talked about AES 256? That's the gold standard.
Right.
If a provider isn't using that, it's a red flag.
Okay, AES 256, check. What else should I be scrutinizing?
Their logging policy is crucial.
Okay.
You want a provider with a strict no-logs policy. This means they don't track or store your online activity, period.
Right.
It's like having a digital vault that even the provider can't peek into.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't want my VPN provider keeping tabs on my every move online.
Exactly. Privacy is a paramount, and beyond those core features, you want a provider with a solid reputation.
Okay.
Look for independent audits, read reviews from trusted sources, see if they've had any security breaches in the past.
So basically, don't just go for the cheapest or flashiest option. Do your homework and find a provider you can actually trust.
Precisely. Now let's talk about something you brought up earlier, split tunneling.
Yeah.
We know it can be handy, but the document also mentions some potential pitfalls.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. It sounds convenient, but are there times when it might actually make me less secure?
There can be. The key is being really intentional about which traffic you route outside the VPN tunnel.
Okay.
Work stuff, anything financial, sensitive, personal info that always stays encrypted.
Right.
But let's say you're working on a public Wi-Fi network and decide to do some online banking
Okay.
while also streaming music. If your music is set to bypass the VPN, a hacker on that network could potentially see your activity.
Okay, so split tunneling is powerful, but it requires a bit of strategy and understanding of the risks.
Absolutely. And here's another tip. Pay attention to the server locations offered by your VPN provider.
Okay.
You want a provider with servers in multiple countries giving you options.
I'm guessing there's more to this than just picking a random location.
Right.
What's the best strategy?
For general browsing and security, it's usually best to connect to a server that's geographically close to you.
Okay.
This helps with speed and performance.
Right.
But there are times when choosing a server in another country might be beneficial.
Okay, I'm intrigued. When would that be the case?
Imagine you're traveling to a country with strict internet censorship. By connecting to a VPN server in a different country with more open internet access,
Right.
you can bypass those restrictions.
Wow.
It can be a lifeline for accessing information and staying connected.
That's actually pretty cool. It's like having a digital passport that lets you navigate the internet freely no matter where you are in the world.
Exactly, and it highlights how VPNs are about more than just security. They're also about freedom of access and information.
We've covered so much ground already.
We have.
But I want to touch on something we haven't explicitly discussed yet, the future of work.
Okay.
I feel like VPNs are playing a pretty big role in this whole remote work revolution.
Absolutely. VPNs are the backbone of secure remote access.
Yeah.
They allow companies to embrace flexible work models without compromising security or productivity.
Right.
It's like having a virtual bridge that connects employees to the office network no matter where they are.
So as remote work becomes even more common, VPNs will become even more essential.
Without a doubt, we're already seeing VPN technology evolving,
Oh, wow.
integrating things like artificial intelligence and machine learning to enhance threat detection and prevention.
So VPNs are getting smarter.
Exactly.
That's fascinating. It makes you wonder what the future holds for them.
It really does imagine a world where VPNs are seamlessly integrated into all our devices,
Right.
automatically protecting our data and privacy wherever we go.
Yeah.
It's not just about work anymore. It's about securing our entire digital lives.
This has been an incredibly eye-opening conversation. I'm feeling a lot more informed about the nuances of VPNs, the things that go beyond just the basics. But I'm also thinking about the ethical side of all this.
Right.
Just because I can access anything with a VPN doesn't mean I should, right?
That's a great point and a perfect segue into our next topic.
Okay.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore the ethical considerations of using VPNs.
Okay.
Just because you have the power to do something doesn't mean you should.
I'm ready to explore that side of things. We'll be back after a quick break to wrap up our deep dive into VPNs. Welcome back to the deep dive. So we've been unpacking all things VPN, and now I'm curious about something we touched on earlier, the ethical side of using this tech. It's a powerful tool, no doubt, but is there a responsibility that comes with that power?
Yeah, that's a really important question and one that often gets overlooked. I think it's easy to get caught up in the benefits of a VPN, the security, the privacy, the freedom. But we also need to consider the ethical implications of our actions online, even when we're behind that digital shield.
I see what you mean. It's like just because I can use a VPN to access geo-blocked content doesn't necessarily mean I should, right? There might be copyright issues or licensing agreements, things like that.
Exactly. A VPN shouldn't be seen as a free pass to disregard rules or engage in activities that would be unethical or illegal without one. So downloading copyrighted material, accessing content you're not authorized for engaging in cyberbullying or harassment, these things are still wrong, even if you're using a VPN.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about using this tool responsibly and ethically. Are there any other ethical gray areas when it comes to VPNs?
One thing to consider is the potential impact on your online community or network. For example, if you're using a VPN to constantly mask your location, it can make it difficult for friends, family, or colleagues to connect with you or share location-based information.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. It's a reminder that our online actions can have real-world consequences, even if we feel anonymous.
Right, and on a broad level, there's the issue of trust and transparency.
Okay.
If you're using a VPN in a professional setting, it's generally a good idea to be upfront with your employer or clients about it. Explain why you're using it, how it impacts your security and privacy, and assure them that you're using it responsibly.
So transparency and open communication are key, especially when using a VPN in a work context. It's about building trust and ensuring everyone is on the same page.
Exactly. And while we're on the topic of responsibility, it's also worth remembering that a VPN, while a powerful tool, is not a foolproof solution.
Right.
It's one layer of protection in a multi-layered approach to online security.
So you're saying it's not a magic bullet?
Precisely, you still need to be vigilant about things like phishing scams, strong passwords, and being cautious about what you click on and download a VPN can't protect you from every threat out there.
Right. It's like wearing a seatbelt. It dramatically reduces your risk in an accident, but it doesn't make you invincible. You still need to drive defensively and be aware of your surroundings.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of awareness, one final point I'd like to emphasize is the importance of staying informed about VPN technology and best practices. The digital landscape is constantly evolving, and what works today might not be as effective tomorrow.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. We need to stay up to date on the latest developments and adjust our security strategies accordingly?
Absolutely. Keep learning, keep exploring, and remember that knowledge is power when it comes to navigating the online world safely and securely.
This has been an incredible deep dive, and I feel like I've gone from VPN novice to, well, at least a more informed user. We've covered so much ground, from the technical details to the ethical considerations, and I'm walking away with a much deeper understanding of this technology and its impact on the way we work and live.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you. I hope our listeners feel empowered to make informed decisions about VPNs and embrace the opportunities they offer, while also being mindful of the responsibilities that come with them.
To our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of VPNs. We encourage you to continue exploring this topic, share your thoughts and questions, and remember that your online security and privacy are in your hands. Stay curious, stay safe, and until next time, happy browsing.